Welcome to Kidmissing TV. This is our first Doe Friday of Adult April. On June 5th, 1936, in Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, Ohio, a man was found who had been dead for about a day or two. He was between the ages of 20 and 30. The coroner said he looked to be of Slavic or possibly Scandinavian descent. He was 5'11", 155 pounds, with reddish-brown hair and blue eyes. He was a victim of the torso killer, or the butcher of Kingsbury Run. He was known as the Tattooed Man. I'm not going to... Well, he was wearing cashmere pants. There was a lot of clothes found in the area and laundry markers, but truthfully, the case is so old that none of that actually matters. June 5th, 1936, none of that is going to be relevant today. I'm sure that laundry is long since gone. He was killed by having his, head divorced from his body. No head, no life. Because your brain controls all of the functions that allow you to live. He was found on the New York Central and Nickel Plate tracks. Oh, his torso was. And it's the rapid transit. His head was found near the rapid transit tracks, and his torso was found between the New York Central and Nickel Plate tracks by an old freight shed. His body was found 1,500 feet from his head. There's no nice way to put that. I try to be as YouTube safe as I can by saying head divorced from body, but he was killed by decapitation. I mean, that's horrible. His body apparently didn't show any signs of mutilation or anything, which the butcher of Kingsbury Run's a little weird, but there was no blood on the ground. He had been killed elsewhere. His head and torso had been flung into Kingsbury Run. According to someone who worked on the railroad, the head was not there at 3 p.m. That day. The head may have ended up there when a late model Cadillac was seen under the Kinsman Bridge about 11 p.m. So they believe his parts were dumped around 11 p.m. His separated earthly remains. And the decapitation was done while the victim was, oh boy, alive. And he wasn't tortured or bound before he was killed. He wasn't drugged. The head was removed between the first and second cervical vertebrae. So way up here, almost by the brainstem. So that means this whole part of the neck was still on the... Anyway, And again, it is believed to be one of the 12 Kingsbury Run murders. The Cleveland torso murderer, or the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run, who has never been identified. And there are other unidentified victims. They recently identified one. So there's always hope. The Cleveland Police Museum says that all the records have been destroyed, removed, or lost in these cases. But they're still working on them, so this tattooed man is victim number 5. He had 6 tattoos. One on the left calf, which is a character of Jiggs from the comic strip Bringing Up Father. On the right calf was an anchor under a superimposed Cupid. On the right forearm was Helen-Paul over a dove. That makes me think Helen Paul had passed away, because a dove is a symbol of peace. It's also a symbol of, could be a wife too, because could have used doves at their wedding or something. A butterfly on the right shoulder. On the left forearm was crossed flags. Also on the left forearm with the initials WCG with an arrow through a heart. The tattoos may suggest a naval background of the victim. 2 young boys discovered the head, by the way, which I can't even imagine being a child and discovering anyone dead, even an animal, let alone only the head of a human being. And he had, well, yeah, he did spend money on tattoos, but you have to remember something, person that wrote that he also was wearing cashmere pants. This wasn't someone who was being too badly affected by the Great Depression, quite frankly. So either that or he got his tattoos before. Now, I don't know the history of like tattooing in this country. I do know that tattooing, sorry, has been something that's been done by indigenous peoples in all parts of the world for centuries. I also know that in some states, including the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, tattooing was illegal. Yeah, illegal. Why, I don't know, but it was illegal. And up until, gosh, was it the early 90s, I think, when there was a referendum on the ballot and we passed to allow tattooing in Massachusetts. I think it was in the 90s, because I'm pretty sure I was old enough to vote when that referendum came on the thing. Because people from Massachusetts would just go to other states to do it, you know? But you couldn't have a shop in Massachusetts. And I'm sure there are other states that didn't allow it. There may still be states that don't allow it. I don't know. I'd have to do a little bit of research. And nobody wants to sit here and watch me do that. let me do it this way. In what U.S. states is tattooing illegal? Go. Okay. Well, there's no federal law. We know that. Okay. It was illegal at one time. Let me. When did tattooing become legal in Massachusetts? Oh. In the year 2000. Okay, I knew I was old enough to vote. It was the year 2000. Because the state's ban on it was deemed unconstitutional. Because it interfered with self-expression, I guess. So the state Supreme Court said you don't have a choice. But we did have a referendum because everybody voted for it. Why not let artists make a living? They are true artists. Would I personally get a tattoo? No. I don't like the idea of sticking a bunch of needles in me. That being said, I don't have a problem with anybody else doing it. You know, if you're a girl and you want a cute little flower on your ankle, or, you know, a cute little pom-pom appearing somewhere or whatever, do it. It's cute. I wouldn't want a girl to be absolutely covered in them. Yuck. Any more than I think it's attractive for a man to be absolutely covered in them. But that's just my opinion. And like I said, I'm not someone who would do that. But now that we've gone down the rabbit hole of legal tattooing, we are going to close out this case. I've done a woman that was part of the Kingsbury run as well, right before one of them was identified. So it's really neat that we can still identify these people thanks to DNA. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you next time. Please subscribe, hit that bell, and share my videos if you know anybody who's a true crime person that might enjoy. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.